Sometimes nepotism, when the word is mentioned, I don't understand it because most of the kids, I think, like to follow their parents' footsteps. I went up to my mom and I said, everywhere this is this one thing that is constant in everything, and they're comparing me to you. So that day she told me, if you feel this is going to affect you and mentally affect you, then stop. They were trying to link me up with Ajay. And Ajay and me have a very beautiful bond, and it's a very different bond, filled with respect for each other and admiration and love. If it's two individuals have decided something, let the children not suffer and let our ego aside.
Hi, I'm Swati Chopra, and today in Tell Me All, we have with us an actor who's making a silver screen comeback after 14 years. And she's not just here to talk about her professional journey, but lots more. Hi Esha, welcome to the Quint.
Hi Swati, thank you.
How are you feeling about this comeback?
I've been actively working, with web series and short films and otherwise.
A silver screen comeback, then we should be specific.
Specifically back on the silver screen, and it feels like, I think the right word for it is a homecoming, because I started my career with being, in the theatres, which every film of mine was released in the theatre. I just was passing by and I saw a film poster, the hoarding put outside, on the building of a cinema hall. That feeling when you see yourself back on a film poster on the walls of a cinema hall, that's a very unexplainable feeling.
We're going to talk so much more about your homecoming and about your films and your journey, but I want to kind of take you back to your childhood. You grew up as a daughter to two superstar parents. When you think back to your childhood, what are some of the fondest memories that kind of stand out to you?
My childhood, I was just films and dance. I didn't have anything else that I knew besides, of course, going to school and studying. But when I was home, it was always films or dance. A lot of memories of being on film sets. So I grew up knowing just this and being in awe of my parents, and every child is always in awe of their parents, and you look up to them and you wish someday you do that. Sometimes nepotism, when the word is mentioned, I don't understand it because most of the kids, I think, like to follow their parents' footsteps, and rightfully so.
When you are in a household where there are people with so much fame, so much success, what's the kind of influence that has on a child? Like growing up, do you remember like any experience or any moment that kind of stand out to you?
This may sound strange, but we've had a very down to earth, sort of grounded upbringing, and I think they deliberately overdid it with us. It happens, when your parents are famous and they see so much around them, they don't want that to affect their child. They want the child also to work hard and achieve it. Yes, you are born with certain privileges, but you have to have that gratitude for what you have. I've honestly had quite a strict upbringing, a very disciplined upbringing. My household was filled with women mostly. My grandmother, grandaunt and all, very strict South Indian women. It was out of the question to be anything else but have a normal upbringing. And my school that I went to, we were never treated like anything special. We were treated equally the same as everyone else, and I loved that. And I traveled by train, rickshaws, buses. Not that it's a great thing. People make it sound that it's a great thing, but I did that a lot while I was growing up with my friends. And no one recognized us then, that was the best part. No one knew I'm so-and-so's daughter, and so I got away doing a lot of things.
That was a better time, I think.
Much better time,
much
better time. And that's why my kids, I want that for them, The paps are more respectful and more understanding. But a layman on the road, you can't control him and his device.
That is true. As you were talking about that, I've only seen films around me. Watching your parents' career, watching them go through their highs, go through their lows, what are some things that you learned watching their journey as actors?
It is something that I observed, and then I was told also by them that don't let success go to your head and don't let failure go to your heart. Just remain, I would say, on neutral gear.
Is it easy to do that?
Yeah, it is. For me, this is my profession and it's a passion for me. Luckily, my passion is my profession,
Yeah.
and I treat it that way. I have a life besides this also. I look at my life as a totality. These are parts of my life.
Who has been that person for you in your life? That person who's always, say, motivated you or been an absolute rock to you through your life, guided you?
It's the obvious answer. It's my mother and my sister.
Yeah.
I have a younger sister, Ahana. Her life philosophy is just so different and so beautiful, and it complements and sort of keeps, because my mom and me are pretty much similar line, being in the same profession, but she's a little different, so having her inputs are so useful. And actually my sister is a certified mental health and addiction counselor. So she's a great counselor.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I have you on the phone for free.
And someone you can trust. It's not the easiest to
Absolutely.
get a great counselor
Yeah,
today.
we are as thick as thieves.
So what kind of lessons has, your mom kind of imbibed in you growing up? Not just taking into this career, but someone like kind of holding close to your heart as a person.
Lessons that she
something
has,
that values, lessons that you kind of
values,
carry
values
forward.
is better. Something that I think every mother would want to tell their daughters, especially. Sons, yes, they automatically do it, but for daughters it's very important to have your own self-identity even after marriage. And she has always told me, you have worked hard and made a name and you have a profession. Even if you've not made a name, you have a profession. That's your thing. Never stop that. Try and continue working. Always be financially independent, irrespective of, even if you're married to a millionaire. But having your own financial independence just makes the woman so different. One more very sweet thing she has told me is we do so many things in life, working, this, that, self-care, everything. She's like, one thing which is very important in life and should never die out is romance.
Yeah. How nice.
She said that is something that just gives you those butterflies in your stomach. It's that feeling. Yeah. I mean, we all want it.
Of course.
I have that advice in my head, but I have not acted upon it yet.
Well, now that you're speaking about it, maybe it'll change from here on. Wow, so you did follow your mom's advice and you became financially independent. Do you remember but the first day on the sets?
My first day was a Muhurat shot. And my first film actually was Koi Mere Dil Se Pooche, but I was simultaneously shooting for Na Tum Jano Na Hum.
Yeah.
And my first shot was a Muhurat shot of the film Na Tum Jano Na Hum with Hrithik. And it was a dance shot. And he's a fantastic dancer. And I'm also a good dancer.
Of course
so that was like, that was just,
That was easy.
Yeah, it was nice. Thank God it was a dance shot.
Yeah, what else do you remember from that day when you think?
I mean, I was very excited, very ready, absolutely no nervousness, nothing. I'm like, this day has come.
I remember that tutu from the film.
Oh yeah,
Oh
the
God,
Paddington. That became more famous than all of us.
That was very popular for the longest
Yeah,
time.
yeah, very.
Looking back at your career, what are some of the highs that instantly come to your mind when you look at your career?
In what context? Like?
In professional journey, whether it's films, whether it's moments from your career that instantly you can think of and say, oh, that was a high moment or high moments in my career.
We get quite a few high moments. For us, high moments are not always connected to the rate of success or failure. There can be two different segregations of highs.
Sure.
One is definitely if you're going into the success rate angle and all, that is a different high. If film did well. There is another high that we get, I think, as actors, where we take up these roles and we look forward to doing those certain scenes or certain stunts or certain dance step. It's as small as a dance step, but when you do it and you get it right, that is a high.
So is there any moment like that comes to you that gave you this high of...
We were shooting in Goa port and it was almost 100 feet. I was on cables up in the air and I had to do a somersault.
Wow.
Up in the air and the shot was of being thrown into the water, and this film was with my father, Tell Me O Kkhuda, and he was sitting down and came for the shoot and he looked up and he thought it's the stunt double. And then he got to know it's me and he was furious. What is wrong with you? Me and the director both got fired.
Oh my God, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you
But that was a high.
Were there also ever a time in your career where you felt there were significant challenges that you kind of overcame?
Yeah, absolutely. Like even my first film, when it released, in my reviews, I was 18. They've straight away started comparing me with my mother, who's a legend, dream girl, 200 films plus.
Yeah.
And I was very hurt because they spoke about my baby fat and all also. But I had it at that time. I couldn't understand, and it was very, very hurtful.
Of course.
I was very upset and sad. And then I went up to my mom and I said, you know, everywhere this is this one thing that is constant in everything, and they're comparing me to you. So that day she told me, she's like, you know, this is new to me also, because first time my child is in the same profession as me, obviously, so I'm also new to this. But if you feel this is going to affect you and mentally affect you, then stop. If you feel this is what you want to do, then be like this and just continue.
Cut the noise.
Yeah. And of course there are certain films where you feel, you know, are going to be really doing well at the box office, and when they don't, that's another heartbreak. So my dad says this every time. हम actors के लिए हर Friday या दिल खुश होता है या दिल टूटता है. He had every Friday a release, you know, back in the days.
I myself am a single parent. I know that, you know, as overwhelming as it is, it's just as fulfilling to be that, you know, to be a parent. Being on this journey, you know, what are some things that you've learned about yourself? Like, you know, because it takes a lot.
It is overwhelming at times. My daughters mean the world to me. Sometimes two individuals, unfortunately, the roles end playing X and Y. And especially when kids are involved, it's important to let your ego aside.
Absolutely.
And have the threshold. At the end of the day, we are parents to these beautiful kids. Let's give them the best. And that's when I think, when you decide to do that, when you yourself are like that, सामने वाले को automatically he or she has to melt if it's possible. And you change the roles.
Yes.
And you co-parent. If it's two individuals have decided something, let the children not suffer. And let our ego aside, and let's try and work it out with these new roles that we've taken on into each other's lives.
We have to keep everything aside and just be there for our kids, because that is of utmost
for your
priority
kids, you have to be a unit.
That's
that unit can't break.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe the other unit has broken, but for your kids, be that one unit, you know.
Yeah.
So that, I again feel it's very difficult for many. But if you try, I think, keep trying.
Yeah.
Don't give up on that.
Social media presence is immense, right? This one pro of social media is that if there's something being said, you can take to Instagram, you can take to some place and say, listen, hey, it's wrong. It gives you that kind of freedom of speech, not just to the media to say things about you, but to clarify. What's the weirdest rumor you've heard about yourself back then? You wish social media existed so you could say, please, yaar, such nahi hai.
Yeah. I mean, I was linked up to a lot of my co-stars, a lot. Some may be true.
Yeah, okay.
But the ones that were not, they were trying to link me up with Ajay. And Ajay and me have a very beautiful bond, and it's a very different bond, filled with respect for each other and admiration and love. So that was so weird, And I mean, there were these stories that they cooked up around it, and I'm like, you know, maybe we were doing a lot of films together at that time.
Esha, when you did, you know, decide that, okay, I'm going to take sort of a break from the big screen, you know, did you for a second think this industry is so much based on out of sight, out of mind, but I'm going to take a break because I know when I come back, I'm secure enough to know.
My break was purely to start a family, and I have embraced motherhood twice over. So automatically, as a woman, it's my choice. I want to give my children that time, you know, and rightfully so. I think you know how it is being a mom. And when you feel you're ready, I think automatically work starts coming back to you.
It's law of attraction.
Exactly. It's so important to know what you want at that particular period and time in your life. And I've always wanted to do what every girl wants to do,
Yeah.
you know, marry, settle down, have children. And
Yeah.
I'm still doing my bit wholeheartedly, and for my two daughters. They enjoy the fact that their mom is an
How cute.
actor and they enjoy, right now they enjoy the small perks of dressing up,
Yeah.
doing makeup, nails,
Yeah.
all that.
Do you like kind of want to come on sets and stuff? Do they get excited?
They want to. They have come
Okay.
very few times. Right now, if they had it their way, they would be sitting here and watching the interview.
Let's talk about the film. You're making a silver screen comeback. What was it about this film that said, okay, you know, this is the one that I want to call it as my homecoming?
Vikram is such a good director, and when he told me about the story of Dr. Ajay Devgn, it was so you know, hard hitting, and sort of your heart goes out to a man like this.
Yeah.
And at the same time, he's such a big personality and such an intelligent man, and had the courage to actually introduce IVF into our country for even the lesser educated people, going and educating them about the privileges of IVF. Just the setup, the Mahesh Bhatt ji presenting a film, Vikram directing it. My role is something that I'm very, very glad that he saw me doing something like that. And that's what I liked, is that, you know, people sort of typecast you that ये तो यही करेगी, ये नहीं fit होएगी, इसमें ये इसे लेते हैं. He made me break that barrier. I was looking for something challenging. I rather wait and do something that I feel meaningfully happy doing.
I'm sure there are going to be many such roles that kind of challenge you and don't let anybody put you in a box.
Don't put me in a box. I'm not going in any box.
Thank you so much for
Thank
talking to me,
you.
Esha, and good
Thank
luck
you.
for the film and good luck for everything you're setting out to
Thank
do.
you so much.